Hello everyone, bonjour tout le monde. Welcome to EFA97 on this Sunday, June 28th. Dyslexia, interminded, etc. Let's get into this. I'm going to talk specifically to individuals that are like myself. A lot of yous out there have titles. Titles out there from your Asperger's to your dyslexia to whichever, right? And titles are important. And I'm going to speak to you, all of you. Titles are important to put you in a proper lane, okay? The diagnosis is where they screw up. When they improperly diagnose you and they put you in the wrong lane when you should be in this lane, for example, that's not that important. But the title is important. Growing up in school, they had me on one-on-one rooms and that kind of stuff, in conversation with individuals. They would call me a little rebel, etc., because I had a lot of energy. And I'm one of those individuals. One, I speak fast. Number two, while you're talking to me, I've already built what you're saying. Okay, I've already built what you're saying. I got 10 models already put together, and I'm already onto the next project. I learned through my life how to harness that into a lane, and that's the problem. Those that, please listen to understand, that have children, that teach them how to harness it, and that's what I did. If you look at the beautiful individuals out there that have done very well for themselves, those of you might like Barb from Shark Tank. She speaks openly about that, on how she used to look out the window growing up, and so that was my life, right? Looking out the window all the time, looking at the bigger picture. I don't only see the trees from the forest. I see the trees from the forest, from the planet, from the sky, from right up here, right in the galaxy. I look down. That's how my mind works, and that's how the minds work of those individuals. But it's a fragmented mind growing up, and you need to learn how to harness this to live in this world, right? Because growing up in school, all that kind of, the way they teach, it's not the way we learn, right? But how we grow is when we get out of school. We need that knowledge, that training, that experience. So, and I tell it to my daughter, Maddie, she is very similar to I, very like-minded. And I tell her, you need to build that strong foundation. That's why you need the education. And two, to live in this life, they want to see degrees. They want to see, you might be 10 times brighter and smarter than them, and you'll put them in a position, you'll blow them out of the water, but it doesn't matter. You need that certificate. You need that paper to say who you are. That's what they want, and that's what you need. So to do that, you need to learn to harness yourself, okay? You need to learn to harness yourself in life. And how did I do it? And I say this because my daughter took some Dyslexia 101. There's an individual, that very smart individuals that gave her the training, special courses and all that my parents did for me growing up. And then those individuals that I speak to, when I explain to them what I did, they look at me, they basically tell me I'm the 1%, I'm the 2%, I'm the 3%, and that have learned how to harness that, right? But the gift that I gave myself growing up, and I think it's because of my upbringing surrounding a foundation, right? I had a very strong upbringing as a foundation. I had people in my life that have done very well for themselves, family and extension. I had strong upbringing parent-wise, fragmented but strong. I came from the hood. Then I started doing business right away. My first property, I was 23 years old. My first corporation, I was 24 years old, and had started a government position at that time, at the same time. So that's the world that I got into really fast, to try to harness myself, right? And I built my life on a track, and that's what I did differently. All those that are listening out there with the 10,000 highways going on all the time, you're constantly thinking, you're constantly, like I'm talking to you, everything that's going on around me, the birds, the sounds of it, everything's being categorized, right? And I know you're thinking like that. I put my life on a track, and I teach my daughter Madeleine, look at, and Eva, I speak to them both equally. I get on I harness my life on a track. And everything that is up there, I put it ahead as stops, right? Stops, I'm either going to drop off or pick up or build or create or something. There's going to be a process, but that process, otherwise, it's fragmented. It's all over the place, right? So I learned to look at life as a road and not a mountain. And I tell that to them, if you look at it as a mountain, there's only a small percentage that will conquer that mountain, right? Because the majority look at it as an obstacle. But if you look at life as a road, you know if you keep going, you're going to get somewhere, correct? And that somewhere would transpire. Remember, when I was in high school, and I was bored with high school, and I would look out the window and that kind of stuff, and always creative and always working. And you'll see that pattern. Always want to do something, dying to work. I started working like a little, I mean, I was a child. starting to work. Like the double newspaper bags, and back then was all these newspaper routes and penny saver routes and etc. Anything and everything, going shoveling people's driveway, going cut grass, whatever, go pick up bottles. We used to do all that, dying to work, right? Always dying to work. And then as soon as I got, 12 years old, back then, I was working in restaurants, doing a dishwasher, being paid cash, right? Being paid cash, I was 12 years old. Because our generation, this is what I don't agree with government. I believe in rules and regulation and governance. The age has to change in a lot of categories, because I was dying to work from the age of 10. My daughter, Madeleine, is just like me, dying to work. Now she's going to be 15 here, and dying to have a full-time job while going to school. And that's who you are. And remember, listen to that, because I know those that are like that are dying to do something else. And that's why I'm multitasked, I'm multifaceted. But you got to narrow that down. So by keeping busy and keeping quiet and keeping my jobs, it helped me through life to stay out of trouble and etc. So school and work were two things that I kept going all the way through college. Narrow my lane, put it ahead of me, try to keep those things in line. And then as life grew, so did I, right? I started expanding to where I am today, 54 years old, COO, president, which is a chief operating officer, and the president of multiple corporations, involved in completely separate and apart in different facets from each other. I did my 27 years of government with 3 different levels of government, from corrections to training college universities to the Ministry of Labor. I've done investigations. I sat on panels. I've traveled across this country. I've done media relations, labor relations. I've done human rights cases. There's so much vast variety of stuff that I've done that encapsulates between my government and my private and my corporate background of nearly 30 years. And the clarity, remember I said when I was in high school and I left high school, and I'm talking to all of you out there, and I have children like this, if you put them on the right lane, trust me on that. When I was in high school and I was bored, and the way they taught, because they taught differently, they teach for the average, but the certain mindsets we don't learn that way, right? So they teach not like we learn. And so therefore we learn through life a lot more. And that's why when I left high school, I blew out of the box, literally blew out of the box, right? So now when I left high school, and that whole blowing out of the box, well, that just got magnified with OMAD. 1 meal a day. 1 meal a day, June 3rd, 2019, I started intermittent fasting lifestyle. I don't want to repeat that lifestyle. Please review all my EFAs. That lifestyle has led me to lose 100 pounds. But beyond the 100 pounds, it has led my internal engine to clean itself. It gets rid of diseases. It gets rid of a lot of stuff. It's called autophagy, depending on how you want to say it. It basically defined as self-eating. My goal was to always meet autophagy daily. That's why my minimum fasting and feasting windows maximum was 8, and the minimum was 16 for my fastings. That developed into OMAD naturally, and I've said this in previous EFAs. About 3+ months ago, 4 months ago, I was doing OMAD. I was doing a lot of days that were just OMAD, 1 meal a day, and then that progressed to permanency. So approximately 3 months ago, 4 months ago, I transitioned to permanency of OMAD, 1 meal a day, which now 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, I have 1 meal, and on Sunday I have 2 meals. Like today, I'll have 2 meals. I'll have a nice brunch. I train during my fast. Then I'll have a nice brunch, and I'll have a nice dinner, but I'll be productive all day. So going back to the interminded and all that, what did that do, that OMAD? And then listen, nutrition, I'm talking to all of you here with children, those that have the fragmented minds. You want to bring brilliance into their lives. You want to give them a better life to your children. You think they might have something. Please listen to this. The nutrition is so important. What did I prove myself? Remember, EFA is equality for all, knowledge, training, and experience. I base myself on knowledge, training, and experience. My entire life that I do, if I don't know it, I shut the hell up. There's too many people out there that truly know nothing, but they don't shut the hell up. You know, the people that are, and I've heard the analogy, and I've used it more than once now, the same people that'll debate with a bird on how to fly, those individuals, when you start going granular with them, you start going specific, it falls apart, right? Oh yeah, all that falls apart. But they don't know, or they change the conversation, or they get louder, right? So the knowledge training experience, that's what I speak on, right? I speak on that knowledge training experience because it's so important to put those that you have, that you love and respect, and those that are listening to understand, to get into the right lane. You get into the right lane, and you get yourself on that lane, and you're if you're able to harness that lane and look and put all your fragments ahead of you, what transpires with the nutrition and the diet lifestyle. It's not a diet lifestyle, but all natural food, no processed, no sugars, a healthy lifestyle that I live. The clarity in the mind expands to, like, I just blew out of another box. I literally blew out of another box, and I could imagine how many children out there, how many parents that would, if they would change their children's food lifestyle to not necessarily an OMAD, but to an all natural, no sugar, no processed lifestyle. I wholeheartedly telling you, their minds, you will change their path of life. Those that have children like me growing up, and if you put them on all natural, no process, no sugar lifestyle, if you just get them going on that, you will change their path of life for the most positive thing you could have done to those you love and respect, right? To your own, to your children, to those you love and respect, to those that you know, right? Let's get back on this intermindedness. So this clarity that's transpired in my mind has opened it up to the point where the conversation, the intellectual conversation that I have with myself, the intermindedness, and I looked it up, intermind, it's not even a word, but it is a connotation of having a intellectual subconscious with an unconscious conversation. That's what it talks about. It basically, that's what it's defined as for them, what it means, and that's exactly what happens, right? My wife is Seventh-day Adventist. She celebrates the Sabbath. On Friday, she God's Sabbath. It's all family. There's no work. There's no nothing. Between sunset and sunrise, Friday to Saturday, it's all family. It's all church, and she reads her Bible, that kind of stuff. So she was talking on the phone, and me, I'm on the Friday. I'm français, la joie de vivre. I have my one meal, I have my bottle of wine, I have my conversations. I double headphones on because, etc. So when she was telling me this, and I'm preparing for my Sabbath, I said to myself, no different than you preparing for your fasting, right? No different than you preparing for your fasting. I walk by a couch to go to sit down. I bounce back up, and I don't even sit down. I don't even attempt to sit down. My mind tells me you got to do this ahead of you. I go to pour myself a drink. I don't pour myself a drink. I make myself something else because my mind told me to go make myself a fat coffee instead. People will talk to me in business. People will talk to me in government about the other person. I interrupt it and I start going into the facts with them, right? No, Ashley, bang, 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 bang. In the past, I would let it slide. Okay, they don't know, but just like you become so much more efficient, so much more productive, so much more that you start interacting differently. You start interacting with yourself differently, interacting with your family differently, interacting with your friends differently, interacting with business differently, interacting with your inner self differently. You constantly, that lane that I talked about, that train track that I talked about, what transpired with OMAD and the lifestyle of 1 meal a day, I literally, have off-ramped onto another highway of life. I truly believe that. The clarity that's going forward, and those that have your dyslexias of the world, etc., if you remove the sugars, if you remove the process, and you focus on all natural foods, right now, after a year, that started June 3rd, 2019, right? Today we're June 28th. After a year, and after following a nomad lifestyle for well over 3 to 4 months now, probably, I have naturally stepped off onto another off-ramp of life. I'm on a whole new lane, and that road is so straight and so narrower, right? And ahead of me is bright blue skies and sunshine, and that's what I see. That clarity has opened up the whole nature mindset, the interconnectivity that I talk about, the intermindedness that I talk about, that world that I live in. When I look at government, when I look at business, right? They're completely separate and apart from each other. And if I take that line between the business side and the government side, and your first 10, 20, 30% maybe understand each other, right? Understand each other. You got that 10-20%. It's because they also have businesses and families with business. They were raised in that kind of world, or they were raised in government. They understand government, or they have that interfabric between each other. So that first 10 to 20% understand each other. But when it goes beyond that 30%, that's where it gets fragmented, right? That's where associations and committees and etc. are important. But the majority, and this is why we are in this world today, we are in this world today because of that ununderstanding of intermindedness, right? They don't understand each other, and because they don't have that knowledge, the training, and experience. And the ability that my dyslexia, or call it what it is, people tell me all the time, how the hell do you do all these things, right? One, I change the environment all the time. When my mind, if I want to work 16 hours a day, if I want to work 7 days a week, if I want to stay productive all the time, I just change the environment. Right now, I got a laptop in front of me. I got my glasses, I got everything. I'm going to work. I'm going to do some emails. I'm going to have double headphones on. I'm going to be listening to my music while I'm working. I'm going to be intermingling with my family all day. I'll be jumping rope in a moment from now. You constantly hunger for more. And that endurance that I talked about, you're constantly hungering for endurance. You're constantly hungering for more productivity. You're constantly hungering to be more efficient. You're constantly hungering to be more understanding of each other. You're constantly hungering to find why, and you want to know more, and you want to bring it together. You want to fix it. You want to fix it. How do I fix this? How do I fix this freaking mess? How do I fix this whole, and you jump on a path and you do it, and you slowly bring in things, and you're slowly plugging in the holes, and you're slowly reinforcing the foundation that you're standing on, and you're slowly building that ladder of life again. But this time it's made out of titanium, and it's getting stronger. That's what OMAD has done to my mind. And I'm speaking to each and every one of you that I said a moment ago. You're bright, you are beautiful, and you are intelligent. And if you help yourself and get off the process, get off the sugars, start eating all natural, just start with that. You don't have to make mystical, magical abracadabras. Just start with that. I promise you, those with that mind, that creativity will change.